creatures of the Bible. Throughout history, cultures have told stories of strange and powerful beings, some monstrous, some divine. The Bible, rich in both historical and symbolic language, presents us with a collection of creatures that challenge our understanding of the natural and supernatural world. From mighty beasts like Behemoth and Leviathan to celestial beings like Seraphim and Cherubim, these entities are woven into the fabric of biblical narratives, carrying deep theological significance. Some creatures represent God's power and authority, while others embody chaos, sin, and the forces of evil. Some appear as servants of divine will, worshiping at the throne of heaven, while others emerge as harbingers of judgment and destruction. Whether literal beings, symbolic representations, or a combination of both, these creatures reveal fundamental truths about the nature of God, humanity, and the unseen spiritual realm. Join us as we embark on an in-depth exploration of the mysterious creatures of the Bible, beasts of land and sea, angelic hosts, and terrifying visions from the prophetic texts. 1. The mighty Behemoth, the power of creation. Job 40:15-24. Among God's many wonders, the Behemoth stands as a testament to divine power. When Job questions his suffering, God responds by pointing to his creation, highlighting the Behemoth as one of his greatest works. Behemoth is described as a massive, grass-eating creature with strong bones, powerful limbs, and a tail like a cedar tree. This enigmatic being is the chief of the works of God, a ruler of the land that no human can tame. The debate over its identity ranges from literal animals, such as a hippopotamus, elephant, or even a dinosaur, to symbolic interpretations that see it as a representation of strength, pride, or natural forces beyond human control. Behemoth represents God's dominion over creation, demonstrating that even the mightiest creatures are subject to him. The reference serves as a humbling reminder to Job and to all humanity that God's wisdom and power far exceed human understanding. 2. Leviathan, the sea monster of chaos and judgment. Job 41, Isaiah 27:1. If Behemoth is the king of the land, then Leviathan reigns over the sea, a terrifying, untamable beast with armored scales, fiery breath, and the ability to make the waters boil in its wake. Leviathan is a symbol of destruction, chaos, and resistance against divine order. God describes Leviathan to Job, asking, "Can you draw out the Leviathan with a fishhook?" The answer is clear. No human can subdue this monstrous force. Some scholars suggest Leviathan may have been inspired by real sea creatures, like the crocodile, or a now extinct marine reptile. Others connect it to ancient Near Eastern myths, where sea monsters symbolize primordial chaos. However, in biblical prophecy, Leviathan takes on a more sinister role. In Isaiah 27:1, it is depicted as a great serpent that God will one day slay, a foreshadowing of Satan's ultimate defeat. This imagery resurfaces in the book of Revelation, where a dragon, often linked to Leviathan, wages war against God's people. Leviathan represents the forces of chaos and opposition to God, yet God is shown as sovereign over even the most fearsome creatures. The promise of Leviathan's defeat in Isaiah foreshadows God's final victory over evil. 3. The Nephilim, the mysterious giants of old. Genesis 6:4, Numbers 13:33. Before the Great Flood, the earth was inhabited by the Nephilim, described as mighty men of renown. But who were these giants? Genesis 6:4 tells us that the sons of God came down and took human women as their wives, resulting in the birth of the Nephilim. This passage has been widely debated, with some believing that these sons of God were fallen angels, others interpreting them as the descendants of Seth, the godly line of Adam, and still others seeing them as powerful rulers or warriors. The Nephilim reappear in Numbers 13:33 when the Israelite spies report seeing giants in Canaan. This has led some to wonder whether remnants of this race survived the flood. If connected to fallen angels, the Nephilim represent a rebellion against divine order, a hybridization of the supernatural and human world. Their destruction in the flood highlights God's judgment against corruption and evil. 4. The heavenly beings, Seraphim and Cherubim. Seraphim, the burning ones, Isaiah 6:2-6. When the prophet Isaiah had his vision of God's throne, he saw the Seraphim, 6-winged celestial beings, who called out, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts." One of them touched Isaiah's lips with a burning coal, cleansing him from sin. The Seraphim represent the purity and holiness of God. Their act of purifying Isaiah illustrates God's power to cleanse and commission his servants. Cherubim, the guardians of God's presence, Genesis 3:24, Ezekiel 1. Cherubim first appear in Genesis, where they guard the entrance to Eden with a flaming sword. Later they are depicted as throne bearers of God in Ezekiel's vision, having 4 faces: man, lion, ox, and eagle, and moving with divine precision. Cherubim symbolize God's holiness and the separation between humanity and divinity. The presence on the Ark of the Covenant signifies God's dwelling among his people. 5. The beast and the dragon, end-time creatures of judgment. Revelation 12:13. In Revelation, terrifying creatures emerge as part of a final confrontation between good and evil. The beast from the sea, Revelation 13:1-10. A 7-headed creature representing political and military power, often identified with the Antichrist. The beast from the earth, Revelation 13:11-18. A deceptive leader, false prophet, who promotes false worship. The dragon, Revelation 12:3-9. Satan himself, waging war against God's people, only to be cast down and ultimately defeated. These creatures symbolize Satan's attempt to counterfeit God's authority. Their final defeat represents the ultimate victory of Christ over evil, a world beyond our sight. The Bible's creatures, both divine and monstrous, serve as profound metaphors for spiritual realities. Some, like the Seraphim and Cherubim, remind us of God's holiness and the majesty of heaven. Others, like the Nephilim, Leviathan, and the beasts of Revelation, point to the ongoing battle between good and evil, culminating in God's final triumph. These beings challenge us to expand our understanding of the unseen world, to recognize the power of divine order, and to trust in God's sovereignty. They remind us that whether in heaven or on earth, God reigns supreme over all creation, seen and unseen. Thank you for watching. God bless you.
Thank you for watching. Kindly like, comment, and subscribe. Click on the notification bell so you can be alerted anytime a new video is uploaded. And please don't forget, share and be a blessing to someone. God richly bless you. Shalom.